And so, in conclusion, I have given the same examples multiple times because even though they're nuanced and even though they sound the same, I find that sometimes the smallest nuance can make a big difference. And so, that's one of the reasons why I like giving examples. And I've actually given this example already about being divided and then being present with it, and then how just being present with it actually makes a difference. And one of the key things that you'll find is that one of the ways I found to be present with what I'm feeling, especially negative emotions, is I didn't realize this, but they were like the most interesting thing. The same thing with pain or discomfort. When you feel it, and if you're actually not trying to do away with it because you think it's a nuisance, they're really interesting. They're really informative. And I didn't realize it but they tell you something. And I realized that my heart or my body is trying to talk to me. And in any good relationship, you need to communicate, right? And so I realized, oh, when I have thoughts, my brain is trying to communicate to me. Oh, when I feel something, my heart is trying to communicate to me. And oh, when I'm feeling like sensing something in my body, or I have sensations, or when I'm feeling these things, my body's trying to communicate to me. And all of a sudden I realized that I am communicating with myself, and I'm myself is talking to me all the time. That was quite the revelation, because all of a sudden negative things didn't sound negative anymore. And this is kind of like what I'm talking about. These are called realizations. It's an official like languaging, meaning as an insights that help you just naturally be, in a meditative state. So you learn formal meditation. And formal meditation is basically the description of what a person is like when they're deeply present with themselves, when they're deeply present with this moment. And so you can practice that, and that's very helpful, and you should definitely do that. But then, along with that, if you understand how this naturally occurs, then you can look for those moments, such as that if you have negative emotions and when you're not present, that's what causes suffering. But then when you're present, then that is exactly the same thing that happens for when you're happy and you're playful and you're engaged and you're enjoying the moment. And most of the times we don't realize that the negative experiences that we have can have the same experience as what we call a positive experience, that the only difference between the two is whether we're present or not. And that's not a common understanding that we have. Oftentimes that's not how we think about things or how we perceive these things. We think that we're happy about these things because these are naturally pleasant things, and we think that we're not happy about these things because they're naturally not pleasant things. But the world actually doesn't work like that. A good example is actually alcoholic beverages, so like such as beer. Naturally speaking, very few people just enjoy drinking beer. It's an acquired taste. You have to learn how to like beer. And that's an interesting thing to me, because I feel like it really talks about this very subject of being present, in terms of that really there's no such thing as something that's just naturally that's bad and something that's just naturally good, because a lot of it actually, whether something is good or not, is whether you learned to be able to enjoy something or not. And that's acquired taste, right? So it's an acquired presence. So for some people, they naturally like thinking, and so they naturally go into these difficult thoughts and they problem solve. And so those people, there are no negative thoughts, there are only concerns and issues that need to be problem solved. So it could be the same thoughts as to why is this not working, why is this always happening. But those same thoughts to someone else would be, that's so interesting, this always happens, why does this always happen? It's like, why is this not working, right? Same thought, but different approach. And so one of the things that my teacher said that I really like is, if you don't want to do push-ups and do it, it's death. But if you want to do push-ups, and do it, then it really aids you. And so this is kind of the approach. Are you present? Are you not present? Right? So if you're having negative emotions such as shame and you're feeling that and you're like, you think that's a bad thing, then you'll be like, oh, shame. I shouldn't be feeling shame. This is like a terrible thing. That means there's something wrong with me. Or when you're feeling shame, it's like, it would be like, oh, yeah, of course. You know what? I didn't want that to happen. That was very embarrassing. I wish that would have not happened. Huh, let's look at why we did that or why I did that. Let's look at what's happening. It's like, why am I feeling so much pain? And you're listening. You're listening to like you would listen to a child. It's kind of interesting, you know. We listen to children when they're in pain and we help them feel better. But then we've learned not to do that with ourselves for various reasons. That's a more complicated discussion in terms of upbringing and things like that. But we can see that we have kind of double standards for the same thing. It's the same negative emotion, but if it happens to your lover or your child or something, it becomes something precious that you need to take care of. But then if it happens with yourself, it's a nuisance that we need to take care of. And it's the same thing. And so when you study this study is called non-duality. And so if you're interested, I have actually made a series that's called non-duality and gratitude practice. And watch that because I'll be talking more about this way of looking at things where it's not this or that, black and white, or it has to be good or bad, or beneficial or not beneficial, but kind of going beyond that and kind of just becoming present. And it's interesting, what you find is that the only thing that really matters is whether you're present or not. And all things work out. When you're present, there is neither good nor bad outside of what it is you're trying to do. If you have a purpose in the moment, let's say for instance, I want to drink water, then bad would be water not being available, and good would be water being available, and bad would be you not being able to drink the water even if it is available, and good would be being able to drink the water. But having said that, in a normal circumstance, that water is innate. It's neither good nor bad, and so on and so forth. So what we find is that actually there is no such thing as something that's always bad or something that's always good. It's actually really situation dependent, and it really depends on what you're trying to do in this moment. And as you become more and more nuanced, you start realizing, oh, it's actually not bad, it's just not available right now. And so I just need to wait until it becomes available and then go for it. And so you become more and more present with more and more things. And so all of a sudden your life just starts getting better just because you become naturally present, because you learn how to let go of your biases. And so this is kind of like the study of being present, and I just kind of want to just talk about it in more examples because it's not a difficult thing. It's a matter of perception, it's a matter of belief. And once it makes sense, you start realizing, oh, if I can't be present right now, the only thing I need to do is be present with why I can't be present right now. Then I'm present. Which actually kind of means that you can always be present and you'll always be in a meditative state. And so this is kind of the study of saying, learning how to enter, and then learning how to maintain, and then learning how not to fall out. So that these are the 3 stages of practice in any cultivation. You just first learn how to enter. So when you learn how to meditate and learn what it feels like and learn what that feels, how to be present, that be just entering. And learning how to maintain that in an effortless way is the second one. But then getting it to a point where you understand is so good that you realize that there never needs to be a point where you're not present. That would be learning how not to fall out. And so those are the 3 levels of learning in the 3 stages of mastery. So hopefully that made sense. Thank you.